You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
Oh, hello.
What up? Hello, hello.
We're here.
Hola.
Can everybody hear us? Mic check. We did mic checks already. We're good.
You're playing something on your phone. And I think your phone's connected to the Bluetooth, so it's playing through there.
That was Fat Joe.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
It was my, Spotify playing.
I guess, yeah.
I guess I hit a button.
What a great start to a show.
That is a good start. I'll take it.
Yeah, any port in a storm, I guess.
What's love?
Got to do with it, got to do with
That's
it.
a bop, though. That's a bop. And we're going to get into music later.
Yeah, some would say that's foreshadowing.
We don't really touch on music all that much. We occasionally, but the whole copyright strike, that really gets us. Every time you knock that out, we're gonna take a shot.
No, that's too dangerous. That's too dangerous, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Just trying to fix my hoodie. Damn it. That's all. I was too busy doing backdoor stuff and all that other shit that I got to do to get the podcast
always do
ready.
the backdoor stuff.
Yeah, I was too busy doing all that.
Lent's coming.
To
You
got to
give that up, man.
I ain't giving up shit.
There we go.
I ain't giving up shit.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome to the show. My name is Adam.
I'm Scott. We do a podcast
Do a
where
little ditty.
we drink and
We do a little ditty.
ditty.
Little ditty. Little ditty.
Ooh, that's
Little ditty about Jack and Diane.
God, the music today.
It all leads into everything. So what's going on, sir? How's it going?
Oh,
Saturday night.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
It's 1st of March,
It is.
Spring's around the corner.
Is it though?
No.
Where we live?
No, it's
No.
never.
We're gonna get a horrible snowstorm, and I know everybody on podcast loves to hear about the weather,
Yeah.
but it's not spring yet. No way. No way. No how.
It could be worse.
But,
it could be like frigid and freezing and just
It was pretty
terrible.
cold. We had some rain, and you, sir, were outside gallivanting in the rain all week.
I was. I had a right shit week.
You did have a right shit.
It was very shite. So my mother has like 4 dogs.
Not
only-
like 4. She's got 4 dogs.
But
Yes.
I say that, but half the dogs were foisted on her. The other half is one she
They were.
voluntarily took it in.
But nonetheless, there are 4 dogs that reside at her residence. Yes.
And as you pet owners must know, you got to get your dogs groomed sometimes. So we have a groomer in downtown Sharon,
Okay.
in the Shenango Valley,
Which
near
is a
the
city.
near the
People who aren't from our area don't know what Sharon is.
yeah, it's near
city.
the Daffin's Candy for local people. It's around that area. And my mother made an appointment for 3 of her. She has 3 small dogs. One's a Yorkie Poo. The other one is a Terrier mix, and I can't remember what the other one. And they're all mutts, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so my sister was taking the dogs down there.
Sure.
As she,
Helping out,
as she
yeah.
wants to do sometimes. So I love this dog groomer. She's a very lovely lady.
Mm-hmm.
But as my sister was wrangling all 3 dogs to, get into the place, one of the dogs, the Terrier mix mutt, who is a very skittish, scared dog, got loose from his collar and took off into downtown.
Slipped the
Sharon.
collar.
Yeah, slipped the collar and just took off.
Bolted.
I'm here. I'm in my living room right here. I got my workout bench sitting out in the middle of the living room.
Pumping
I'm
some iron?
I haven't even started yet. I'm just flipping through TikTok real quick, and then I was like, okay, it's time to start. So I was right about to get the weights ready. Then I get a phone call from my sister, frantic. I lost a dog. I lost Happy. And I was like, what? And then she tells me the whole story. Oh, it slipped out of the collar. He's running down the street. Oh my God, he's going to get hit by a car. You need to come down and help. So I'm like, shit. Throw my shit on. I race down there. I skirt right into the groomer's driveway. She gives me like a brief rundown of which direction he went. And I was like, okay, good. And then I start hauling ass down to downtown Sharon. I'm sprinting. I'm like Usain Bolt if Usain Bolt was whiter, a little more overweight, and had a big bushy beard. So not like Usain Bolt.
Exactly like
Yes,
him.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sprinting. And mind you, I don't run anymore. I haven't run in a long time. I got a bad knee. Last time I ran was a few years ago in the gym, and my knee like can't take it. But I'm just hauling ass through neighborhoods, left, right. And if you know the area, it's in downtown Sharon. It's a fairly
It's a
busy
city.
area in terms of
there's
like the roads.
Lots of traffic. Yeah.
So we can't find them. Can't find them at all. My groomer, she's very proactive. She helped us out tremendously. I guess she used to volunteer for like a dog catching groups.
Dog catcher.
Who they specialize
Like an animal
in
shelter?
I don't know if it's directly through an animal shelter, but it was like a charity where they would rescue dogs to
Okay,
get them off the
okay.
streets and stuff like that. So she has a little bit of experience doing this. But she created like a Facebook post because she has a lot of business, so she has a lot of people that follow her. She's like, hey, if you're in the area, this dog, here's a picture. Here, this dog is gone, missing. Let us know. Post on Facebook, and they're out there searching right now. So we get a ping. Boom. He's near Penn State. And we're like, holy shit, he made it all the way down to Penn State. That's like
Penn State branch campus located in Sharon. Yes.
Yeah.
A college campus.
Yeah. And it's like a mile away or something like that. It's probably like a mile away from there, maybe. So we're like, okay, cool. Me and my sister's boyfriend, we get in our cars and scoot down to Penn State.
Okay.
As I'm going past, for those of you that know the area, there's like parking garages, but in like one of the back, like
Explain it to the people like they have no idea what you're talking
basically like think of like they have like one main strip that's like what would you call it? Like
about. A one-way street?
well, no, it's not a one. No, what I mean is like the main strip, like where all the shops are and all like the main
A downtown area.
Yeah. Okay. So to the left and right of that, they've got alleyways and they got one-way streets up and down. So they have like parking garages, and then down this one-way street, there's like this fenced-in area that's kind of like a generator area or something like that. As I'm driving down there, I see my mother's dog hauling ass in the fenced-in area, chased by a couple people. So I scoot over on the side of the road, hit my blinkers on, and I just jump out of the car and I run. I fucking miss him again. I miss him again. He takes off down the road, and then he's gone. And he's gone for the rest of the day.
Now, the dog is going from a more commercial area of the downtown into the more industrial area.
Yeah.
Where there's
There's
factories and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few factories, and there's like a train yard down there.
There's a steel mill.
Yeah. At this point, we lost him for the rest of the day. We were looking around for a couple more hours. My mother came out after work, and they kept searching. Lost him. Gone. He's gone. I'm like, fuck. So I go home. Every day, by the way, during this entire week, I'd go home, work, go to bed, wake up, and then immediately get in my car and go to the last area we saw him, just search for this dog. I'm spending hours out here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, my step counter was through the roof this week. But the groomer texts me the next day or calls me the next day, like, hey, we got another ping this morning. Your dog was seen, in going like it's in the industrial area, like by the train yard area. And he's like, he tried to get him, but then he ran off down the train yard and he just went off there. And I was like, fuck. So day 2 is me trekking through the train yard like I'm a hobo, like looking to like jump a train and get on something.
Yeah, I always wanted to do that.
I'm just trekking down this track like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And I go very far down. I'm like, if this dog kept going, he's gone. He's in the wilderness. He's in the weeds. So my dog's groomer has like traps. So she set up a couple traps kind of in the area. That night I went home to work. My mother came out and they got a ping that he was on the other side of the river. Like in front of the trainer, there's this big ass river with just a
big river.
few.
Yeah.
It was just a few little crossing points, especially in that area. And there's only one crossing
I
point.
drove over there and I was like, how did this dog cross the river?
He double backed. It was what it had to be. He went down the train yard, got scared, and double backed, and then just went up that road. That's my best
road's
guess.
a bridge.
Yeah. So by this point, we're on the Ohio PA border.
Yes.
In like Trumbull County, in kind of like the Masury area.
Right.
They go up in that area that night.
Your dog is so on the lam, it
Yeah.
is crossed state lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mother and sister are driving the same car, and like they're like going up and down neighborhoods that go down this busy street, and they're like, I can't find him, and I'm on the phone with them trying to I'm manning the chair right now with the GPS in my hand. They're calling me, okay, you gotta the Orange Street is on your left, so go down mile down, a couple blocks down, and hang a right left. Like I'm just manning the chair, and as I'm talking to them, all of a sudden I hear my mom scream, "Happy!" like screaming because she sees him in the rearview mirror. sorry, Mom, don't scream. You just scared him more. And he took off.
Does Happy know his name? Does he answer to his name?
He knows his name, but at this point, like he was kind of in survival mode. He was kind of like scared of everything. He wouldn't go near anybody, not us, not nobody else. Like he was just freaking out and in survival mode, just trying to like figure out what the hell's going on. So he's going off pure instinct at this point. So I go up in that area the next day, day three. Day three. I go up in that area and I'm going down State Line Road, which is kind of like the main little road in between that area. And as I'm driving down, I'm on my phone with my sister because she's going to come in like, all right, when you kind of were just chit chatting and stuff like that. And I look down the road, I'm like, that little fucking shit is right there. That little shit is right there walking.
The dog again.
Oh, I see him. So I'm trying to creep up slowly on him. And then I get out of the car and I think if I can just crouch down with throw some treats, maybe that'll bring him over, entice him over. I get out of the car and I stare at him and he looks at me. And he turns around and starts running. He's just running away. So I'm like,
sounds like this dog's like having his Rumspringer. Like,
yeah,
he wants nothing to do with going back home.
He has no desire whatsoever. So cut to me in this neighborhood, running through yards. I'm going in the back of people's yards, just cutting through grass and everything like that, trespassing like all hell, just try to find this shit, just to try to find him. I decide, as I'm going up and down, I can't find him, that I'm going to try to recruit some agents. So now I'm going up and down neighborhoods, finding anybody who's outside so I could talk to them, so I can give him my number. Here's my number. If he's in the area, you text me. If by any miracle he like comes up to your porch and you're able to get him, you call me. I'll be down here. He's like, okay. And so I gave it to a couple other people. One of the people I gave it to, I was creeping. First of all, this fucking neighborhood, nothing but no outlets. You go down one street and everything's a no outlet. It's impossible to traverse in your car. But I go to down this one no outlet, just looking around, and the lady was like calling to me like, "You missing a dog?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I'm missing a dog. And she's like, "Oh yeah, my neighbor took your dog in." And I was like, really? She has my dog? She's like, well, no, she took your dog in about a half hour ago and, warmed it up and gave it some food, but it had an accident on the floor, so she kicked it back out. And that's the moment that Happy came down the road towards me. It was right after he got kicked out. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This happened 3 times total this entire week where people had the chance to just like take him in just briefly and they just don't do it. Same day, I was talking to these other people, and this one was like, yeah, my boyfriend, he was sitting on the porch, and every single time he'd open the screen door, Happy would try to get in, but he'd nudge him out with his foot. And I'm like 20 minutes away down the street at this time when he's talking about this. And I'm like, does nobody take dogs in anymore? Like, look, I'm not saying it has to be a responsibility. But like when I was growing up, we came across a stray dog wandering through our yard. If we had the capability, if it came up to us as friendly and like, it was coming near us, we would secure it somehow, either put it in the back pen we have or just tie a leash around a tree in our yard. And then we do like a cursory search. We walk to the end of the driveway, look up and down the street. Does anybody look like they're looking for somebody? Maybe call the animal shelter, be like, hey, we caught this dog wandering our neighborhood. If, anybody called about him, we got him. Fucking, does nobody do that anymore?
No.
Like, why?
I don't think a lot of people ever did that. I think you guys are just above and beyond pet families, to be honest with you.
I feel like you just do that, though. Like it takes no effort. It takes no effort. Unless you're like running late and you're leaving. These people are just like sitting in their gym shorts.
You have to. It takes effort, man. You gotta like take care of a dog.
But like it doesn't take any effort.
The lady took it in and it shit on her floor. Like
first of all, piss on her floor. Second of all these people were dog owners, so it's not even like they were uncomfortable about dogs. Like the lady that took Happy and was mad that he pissed on her floor. I guess her dog that she currently has never had an accident on her floor ever.
Your dogs are trained. You shouldn't have accidents.
Well, he's a small bladder and he's scared. He's in survival mode, so he's just going.
He's not trained because he doesn't live there. I get that.
The second person I talked to, like, as I was talking to him, like, okay, if we see him again, we take him in. And I explained, like, he's got a small bladder. He's scared. He might have an accident. Put him somewhere tile or tie him up outside. Whatever. She's like, oh, I have a kennel. We'll just pop in there. And I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you just fucking do that in the first place? Let's just put him in the kennel, put it on the porch, and then like just do a cursory look. If an hour goes by and nobody comes by, all right, fine, open the kennel and let the dog out.
Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay, let's get through this. What happened next?
So, just gave my number to a few more people. Thursday night rolls around. We go back up there. Still see him. He's still running away from him. At this point, though, I'm confident we're going to get him. Thursday, I'm confident we're going to get him because I'm like, he's staying here. He hasn't moved on. This is the area he picked.
Uh-huh.
So Thursday night rolls by. Again, we put some posters up, we talked to more people, got the feelers out there, all that good stuff. Friday rolls around. My mother's off, so it's me, my sister, and my mother up in the area, just kind of looking around. Me and my mom see him. Again, walking the same neighborhood. Sees us. We don't chase him, but we try to corral him, like back up to the other area.
Like, tried to flank him.
Yeah. Like that's what we were trying to do. Again, it's like me outside walking around and my mom in the car, like spotting. Like it's like you remember Dog the Bounty Hunter, and Dog would be on foot. And
Do I remember?
And then Beth is in the car and she's like driving. Her like, I see him. He's going down Lewis Street.
Yeah, you
like, all right, we got it.
You know, Beth couldn't chase anybody.
No,
she could waddle around, roll like a bowling ball. But yeah, that show. That was some shit right there.
This is what this is right now. This is just me and my family doing this. Yeah. So it's just this throughout the entire day. Eventually, my sister comes up. We're talking about it. Again, we talked to more people in the area, and we were like, you know what? Let's just put the posters up. You guys drive around, just talk to people, get the word out. We're not catching them. We have to wait for him to get cold and desperate, so he goes back up to somebody's house and hope that it's somebody we talk to, that they'll just let him in and call us. So as we're doing that, I get a phone call. Mind you, I've been getting phone calls for like 2 days now from these people that I've been giving my numbers to. And every single time for 2 days, whenever a number would come through that I didn't recognize, that I didn't like save it, I was excited. I was like, this is the moment. They got him. And I would pick it up and like, hey, did anybody find your dog yet? And I'm like, no, not yet. We're still looking. Like, okay. Like every single time. I get a phone call Friday after I let my mom and sister drive down the road. Number I don't know. I'm like, all right, it's going to be another one of these days. I pick it up. It's like, hey, my friend has your dog. And I was like, wait. Your friend has my dog? Like currently right now has my dog. He's like, yeah, she was walking her dog and he came up and there was a little bit of a kerfuffle, but in the mix, she managed to grab him and pick him up and she's holding him right now on the street. And I'm like, which street? It's like Crawford. And I'm like, that's the other side of this house. It's one street over. Like, I'm on my way. I'm sprinting down to my car, get my car, go down. As I'm going, I was like, oh, I see him. My mother had been going up that road, and the way my sister described it, she was like, is that Happy? And she looks, that's Happy. She has Happy. And so they already had him. So 5 days, this dog took me on an adventure. This dog was like homeward bound. He was lost in the wilderness trying to find his way home.
That was a fun tale. That was an adventure. What was the kerfuffle? Did he get in a dog fight?
I don't know. I think he ran up to him. The other dog was barking at him. Didn't know. Like he was mostly gravitating towards people with pets because he's used to the smell of other dogs and stuff like that. So I think he just like ran up to the lady walking the dog, and the dog started barking. There wasn't like a fight or anything like that, but just
But that's well. I'm glad Happy is home safe, and so people who are watching us know we're not talking about Izzy, who's the star of the show. No, not Adam's dog, his mom's dog. So I think a couple times I referred to it as your dog.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm glad Happy's home safe. Don't take that dog to get groomed anymore.
No, I said the dog is never leaving the house again.
Yeah.
The dog stays in the house forever. It's fucking ridiculous.
Jeez. What was his reaction to being back home? Act like
it's probably like Vietnam. He's got to, there's got to be some acclimation, little PTSD's going on. Exactly. I imagine he's got, he in his sleep, he wakes up saying, the raccoons, the bandits. So he's much happier at home now. Now that he's kind of getting back used to it. He's
cool.
He cries all the time though. Like I was over there today, my mom was gone. I had to go to the basement for something, and he was just sitting at the top steps crying at the top of the steps. My mom said, "Oh yeah, last night I tried to leave him down in the kitchen where he usually sleeps sometimes, and he just spent the entire night crying. So I had to bring him upstairs." Dog is a gigantic baby.
Yeah,
that dog is all flight, no fight. Let me tell you.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you always wear that? Like, why don't you you don't wear a suit?
Only for weddings and funerals.
Yeah, you don't.
Weddings and funerals. That's it.
People are asking, like, why don't you wear a suit? Like, they watch for a distraction. Like, why doesn't he wear a suit?
I was gonna make a naked joke. Never mind.
Is that a question that people ask? Is that like an honest journalism question? Like, why don't you wear a suit?
I'm trying to figure out why it matters, I guess. I'm trying to think, like, what would be the justification for asking somebody if they wear a suit? Let me think about that. At a fashion show, maybe. You know, why aren't you wearing a suit? Why are you just in your birthday suit?
This is what you get when you elect a celebrity as president of the United States.
Yeah.
You have, like, the journalist pool now, like the press pool, that are like, oh, so tell us, who are you wearing? You know?
Yeah.
No, we don't care about what you're wearing.
Look, we didn't want to talk about politics, but what happened yesterday is not something you can't not talk about.
I was so angry. And I was dealing with some stuff too yesterday, so I was kind of unplugged.
Yeah.
And when I heard about it later on in the day, I got so angry.
Yeah. Everybody already knows. Let's just talk about, like, what the fuck was like, clearly they were just trying to egg Zelensky on, right?
Trump and his entire administration, they're nothing but a shill, a puppet of Vladimir Putin and Russia. And it was so blatantly obvious by the interview that they had with President Zelensky of Ukraine.
Yeah.
He came to the White House. He sat in the Oval Office. He was having a conversation with Trump. And I didn't see the whole thing.
Yeah, I haven't watched the entire 50-minute
God
meeting.
knows Donald Trump has everybody with a fuck all camera in there. Like a
Yeah.
Like,
I think the guy that asked him about his, like, apparel was, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend or something like that. That's what I heard.
oh.
I heard he's dating Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh. Ew.
Yeah. That's
You're
what I
worried
heard.
about his suit?
That's what I heard.
Look at what.
First of all, like,
Ew.
how are you gonna be?
Gross.
How are you gonna be in the Oval Office of the President of the United States of America with the President of Ukraine, who's currently dealing with an invasion of his country, and your concern is gonna be like, why don't you dress professionally if you're gonna meet the president? Why wouldn't you dress professionally? And the dude's like, because I'm just not wearing a suit. He's like, when the war's over, that's when I'll start wearing a costume.
Here's what I felt bad, like the parts that I watched, and you know the one who really pissed me off was JD Vance.
Yes, he was the worst of them.
JD Vance was the worst offender of anybody in that room.
He was just loud. Trump was also pretty offensive too.
Trump was, but not until Vance started. I felt like originally Trump was being Trump, which is awful enough in its own right, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was I want all the attention. But then once Vance started raising his voice and going personal, that's when Trump tagged in on it and started doing the same thing too. But you can tell by Zelensky. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Zelensky. President Zelensky.
English is not his first language.
I think it's like his third language.
He was having some issues.
He was talking really well too. Like
he speaks English.
He was very legible.
But when you're in a room surrounded by 50 fucking people, and every one of them is hostile towards you, and he was being shouted at, you could tell there was times like it takes him a minute to search for a word, a noun or something in not his first or second or third language.
Yeah.
And then they're yelling something else in the meantime. It's like the guy didn't have a chance. They were being brutal to him.
And he didn't get in throughout the entire thing. He didn't really get frustrated. From the clips I saw, at the very least, he wasn't frustrated. Well, you could tell he was frustrated, but like he didn't show it. He wasn't like raising his voice. He wasn't like getting super argumentative and throwing insults and everything like that. He took it with as much stride, I guess, as you can when you're a politician who's like in the middle of a war. One of the things they were talking about was like a ceasefire with Russia, and Trump was like, "We got to get a ceasefire with Russia," and blah blah blah. And you know, Zelensky's like, "Well, he fucking keeps breaking. We had like what, one or two ceasefires, and he just immediately broke them afterwards. Like what's the guarantee?" And there was a reporter that's asked Trump, "What if Russia breaks the ceasefire?" And this is the genius line that came out of Don. Like, I can't even believe he was so genius that he was able to think of this line, like his reasoning. What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? That was his response to something that has been proven to have happened. Like, what if it happens again? Well, like, we can't tell. His whole thing in this administration has been, I don't know what the future holds. Like, I can't promise anything. I don't know what the future holds.
He's arguing semantics. He's saying,
Yes.
I don't want to deal in hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But it's not a hypothetical. Twice before, there's been a ceasefire, and both times the ceasefire was broken by Russia. Not to mention the initial invasion, which was Russia invading Ukraine, not the other way around.
Which is the way people are acting right now.
Yes.
Trump has they lied. They started that lie again, and then his maggots like picked it up, and now they're spreading the same thing. Well, Ukraine should have started the war then. Now
I've heard people say that. I'm like, they didn't.
The new argument right now is when you watch a lot of debates when people are talking about this, whenever we're like, we need to support Ukraine because Russia is the aggressor. And the response, they don't have a response to any of that. All they have a response about is, oh, so you're promoting more war? You're for a longer war, more people dying? How very liberal of you, like making these kind of arguments. It's like, and you make the comparison. That's the easy comparison to make. What if the United States wasn't as strong militarily as we are now, and Canada decided that they want to take Maine or New Hampshire or whatever fucking country borders them, and they invade, and then they start taking land, and we start fighting it back, but we get in a stalemate? Like the argument's made, what would you do if you're the United States? Would you just let them have that portion of whatever land they took and then just call it quits, or would you keep fighting on? We all know the correct answer, and when this question is presented to all these fucking people, it's always like their response is always, that's a stupid comparison. That doesn't make any sense. That comparison doesn't make sense. That's stupid.
It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. I'm embarrassed on the world stage right now.
Yes. America
is not great. He's making it less great.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. We should be supporting Ukraine. They are our allies. They are our friends. Russia is the villain.
What's the treaty that we signed? What was it called? You know what I'm talking about? The policy or the promise that we signed
with Ukraine?
Yes.
Oh yeah, but
where they would denuclearize, and then we would guarantee their sovereignty or something like that.
But there was also but treaties are broken all the time, man. That's what Russia did. Russia had a treaty that they wouldn't invade, and they just did.
But the whole point is to not be like Russia. Budapest Memorandum. The Budapest Memorandum.
But yes. And who was it signed by? Was it Obama?
I do not remember.
It was President Obama, I believe. So we don't want to be like Russia, but Trump does. And Trump is the president, man. He's going to break that in a minute. You know that, right?
No, I know that, but I'm not I'm not saying I'm not surprised Trump is trying to do this. He said he wanted to do this.
He said it he campaigned on this.
This is exactly what he wanted to do. So it's it's not that I'm surprised about it, but it's not like one of those kind of things where I could be like, well, treaties break all the time. Yeah, but we don't want to be one of those countries. At least I don't think we should be one of those countries where we are just going to break treaties whenever a new president, because what sort of motivation does that have any other country to sign a treaty with us?
Adam, we've always done it. That's not new to Trump. We have always done that as a country.
I know that.
We've broken just about every treaty we've ever signed.
But we should be mad about it, is what I'm saying.
We should be.
We should be.
But honestly, it's par for the course.
There is a lot of people that are mad about it. You're being the nihilist right now. You're like, what are you gonna do? There's plenty of people right now that are online.
Go talk to the Native Americans and ask them about how great we keep treaties. Oh, that's right. You can't, because we murdered them all.
It doesn't matter though. It does just because it happened in the past doesn't mean we can we got to be better than that. We got to be better.
I'm not saying it's right, because it isn't. It's completely and utterly wrong. I'm disappointed.
Yes,
but I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. But it doesn't. But you're not surprised is what are you gonna do? Obviously it was gonna happen. And I'm
what are you going to do with Trump there? With Trump in power, what are you going to do?
I think that's the question. I think that's a question the rest of the world is asking America
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Be mad about it. Write on the internet and talk on a podcast how mad I am about it. I can do that. It's not going to do anything.
Right, but I got into not an argument, but I got a little back and forth with somebody, a mutual friend of ours. I'll show you later. Just kind of he was talking about the despicable act of Trump, and how could I'm so disappointed and disgusted with what he did, and Zelensky, that's horrible, and people are yeah, it's terrible, Trump is such a terrible person. I was like, so what are we gonna do about it? And that's
a great question. When you find an answer, let me know.
That was my response. Well, you know what we do, and I said this in this little back and forth I was having, I was like, I don't like that I'm saying it. I don't want to have to say it, but I think we got to do what every other fucking country has done this past few months, who fought against fascist authoritarians and oligarchs taking over their country. Maybe a little France treatment. Maybe a little riot treatment.
It sounds great on paper. It sounds great on paper. And I used to be the one, like, I think we talked this at the show before. I actually downloaded directions on how to build a guillotine.
I downloaded the CIA's that little pamphlet of like counter aggression or something like that. They have like a handbook from like decades
From the CIA.
Yeah, it's on their doc. I don't know how accurate it is today, but there's supposed to be a PDF that has like these documents that the CIA put forward where it's like counter aggression towards
That's like
political.
Don't break the law by the NYPD. Like the CIA saying, don't be aggressive. Don't you do it or we'll spank you.
It reads like, I've read a little bit of it. It reads like just like a manual of like, okay, if this is the type of government, and these are the type of people you're coming against, you want to kind of do it kind of this way, and like it kind of reads like instructions. It kind of reads like instruction manuals from like.
And what's it called?
I can't remember what it's called. Hold on.
It's like
I downloaded it. Hold on, let me see.
It's how to a civil unrest by the CIA. Like I would read a book that says how to do civil unrest by Che Guevara. I wouldn't read one by the CIA. Like that's counterintuitive to me. It seems like
I would absolutely read one by the CIA.
They're also the bad guys,
but they know how to do it though. So I'd read the manual of what they do when they do this shit.
You don't give away your best secrets. You really don't.
It's called the Simple Sabotage Field Manual, is what it's called.
I've heard of that before.
Yes.
Okay, that's a little different. That's more spy shit. That's more like, yeah. Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
You just start like. You just start like hometown terrorism. Like what's your first step?
Like you said to yourself, what are we gonna do? We're gonna
what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Complain on a podcast? Talk about
social
what are we
media,
gonna do?
I'll do those things.
I mean, that's the argument that was being made from the person I was talking to was like, look, I cannot like anything that Trump's done. I can hate him. I could call him, think of it as a despicable thing, but he hasn't done anything that's been against the Constitution so far. And I'm like.
Well, technically, a lot of his executive orders have been, but they've been shut down in the courts.
Yeah, which
we knew was going to happen.
Yeah, but my argument was, and we had that little back and forth. Well, he did this, like, well, the process worked, the judicial shut him down and stuff like that. And I'm like, and I was like, and he was making that argument that like he doesn't consider him an authoritarian. I was like, the pure and simple fact that he tried to do it makes him an authoritarian.
I agree with you on this.
Just because the judicial system shut down, I'm like, this is a slow burn right now. His response is basically like he still has faith in the Constitution and faith that the governments and all the checks and balances are going to work out. And I'm like, that's fucking sweet. This is a slow burn, though. I'm sure every single great civilization before there was like a political or cultural coup said it to themselves beforehand. Like, there's no way that could happen to our system. We have it set up perfectly. And I was telling him, I was like, what he's doing right now, like he's already started doing this. He's fausting. He's getting rid of people. Like, not like every president does this whenever they have a new cabinet. They replace heads of state or heads of departments and stuff like that. Happens all the time. But nobody touches the lower end people. Like right now, he's kicking out, like with all the firings they're doing, he's basically purging the government, and he's going to rehire those positions. It's going to be a slow thing with people that tend to be more loyal to his side of things. And you get enough people in the lower end, you spend a few years doing that, you could start doing whatever you want, and then who's going to stop you? He's filled the government with people that are yes men and people that believe what he believes.
Well, that's one positive thing, and I have 2 points I want to make. I agree with you. I do. But as we've seen so far, our system has been working how it's meant to work. But I get what you're saying. In the long term, it might be different. Okay. But the good thing about the federal judges and the Supreme Court being lifetime appointments is we still have a lot of judges appointed by Obama and a lot from Biden, and there's even some Bush and probably a few Clinton left. I mean, it's a lifetime appointment, I'm sure. In the Supreme Court, there absolutely is, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But So Trump's judges haven't taken over everything. And there's even some Trump judges appointed by Trump that are like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, they're decent judges. Like, when push came to shove, they went with the law instead of their orange god king.
Yeah.
And I have faith in that's going to be. The good thing is Trump hasn't been, his years were split up. So you've got judges, other president's judges sprinkled in amongst his judges. So you don't have a supermajority to do anything, to change, to alter the Constitution. I have a story similar to you. A friend of mine, ex-friend, we'll call him, he was a Bernie bro like me. Voted for Bernie in 2016 and 2020. In 2024, voted for Trump. He came over to Trump because he hates the Democrats, thinks they screwed over Bernie. And my argument to him is, but what's Trump going to do? Like, he's the exact opposite of Bernie's. And he's just so anti-Democrats at this point. And I just don't understand. And he was mad about Harris's stance on Palestine. And I'm like, and I think I said to him during the campaign, I'm like, and what is Trump going to do to Palestine? Yes, Biden and Harris did not do enough for Palestine. Completely, wholeheartedly agree with you. But Trump's going to be even worse. He's actually going to get involved and do it. And sure enough, he said, what did he say? He wants Palestine to be his next golf course, right?
Yeah, he wants to displace all the people in Palestine and send them to other countries like Egypt and shit, and they wants to basically level it and then rebuild it back up because it's fantastic oceanfront property.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought he was going to do, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
The good news is, my friend did ask me this question. This is the question I want to propose to you, and it was a good question. He goes, so Trump was president for 4 years, from 2017 to 2021. And he is now president and has been president for a couple months. Do you still believe that he wants to destroy the Constitution, rip the Constitution up, and be president for good? Like, not just be president this term and then be done. He asked that question to me. I answered it. I want to ask it to you.
I think his intention is to find a way to do that. Now, whether he succeeds or not, who knows? But I think everything that we've seen so far, and maybe he's not the mastermind. We all know who's really running the country, Elon Musk. So Trump might not even be the mastermind. He might even be a puppet in this entire equation. But I think if he can figure out a way to do it, he wants to do that. Not necessarily tear up the Constitution, but make enough little changes in there where it can give him, like, they already want to make a change to say and this is probably never going to go through, hopefully, but there's already somebody wants to propose a change that presidents can serve more than 2 terms if the first and second term are broken up and they're not back to back. And this only applies to current presidents and the future. Doesn't apply to anybody else who was president beforehand.
Right. Because he knows if Obama was to run again, he would kill Trump. He would destroy him.
It's those kind of things that I think he's going to do. He's going to be pushing. So, tearing up the Constitution, not do that, but he's going to do little stuff like that. He's going to try to make whatever little change he can make to give him more and more power. He already announced like this past week, and this is my last point, and then I'll let you respond. He already announced like this past week or the previous week, like after all his executive orders were getting blocked by judges, he said that from now on, I think he tried to make an executive order for it. Only the president and the attorney general are allowed to dictate law in the United States.
And that's unconstitutional, so then that got blocked.
Yes.
His attempt to block them from blocking it got blocked. You're your own grandpa.
What I actually think they're doing right now is they're just testing the waters to see what they can get away with, and then that's going to be their blueprint for the future. Okay, we can do this and get away with this, but we got to be a little more strategic with this, and yada yada yada.
Stairway denied.
So I agree with you. I went one step further, and I was like, yes, absolutely. Trump wants to continue to be ruler, king, president, whatever you want to call him. He wants to continue to do that. and he wants to change the Constitution to benefit him. So all these things he's trying to do that are shot down by the judges because they're unconstitutional, he would totally do that if he could, but he cannot. And this, our other friend that you were talking about, this was his point, and he's not entirely wrong. The system is built so one person, be it Donald Trump or whoever comes in the future, cannot do that. It takes a lot. We haven't amended the Constitution, and there hasn't been an amendment in a long time because it takes a lot. It takes three quarters. It's a supermajority. Nobody has that. We're so divided. I don't see it being able to be changed under the current format. You would have to change the format to be able to change the thing. And to change the thing, you need to be able to do the first thing. It's a catch-22.
I think that, like Jeff Goldblum, they'll find a way.
I don't. I think I have faith in the system for the most part.
I don't have faith in the system because there's too many people that ignore previous rulings on the way, like for example the birthright citizenship thing.
Right.
The Supreme Court
got thrown out.
The Supreme Court already ruled that, like, hey, we're upholding the previous verdict of it's not just for slaves, like their interpretation of it is for anybody. But there's already mass amount of people that are getting gaslit into thinking, no, that's not it. You get enough people to believe that, they'll vote for anything.
It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It matters what the Supreme Court justices think. That's how the system works.
But you just said that they need a supermajority in Congress to be able to make that kind of change. That's what they're doing.
But it also has to be constitutional. The Supreme Court justices have to say, oh, yeah, sure, you can do that. Now go get Congress, go get the Senate, go get every supermajority to have a constitutional convention. Yeah, but I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I never studied constitutional law, but has to be a constitutional thing.
Isn't there one of the Democrat Supreme Court judges that is like looking to retire soon? Isn't there one of them that's going to leave a seat open that Trump can fill?
They wouldn't retire. They would have to die. There's no way a Democrat judge is going to retire with Trump as president.
Before after the election was over, but before he took office, I had heard, and again, take it with a grain of salt, I had heard, though, that there was one of the ones that was like really old.
They are, yeah.
It was like, she's considering retiring, and everybody's like posting.
Was it Sotomayor?
It might have been, but I remember everybody posting videos of like, you cannot retire. I'm sorry, you cannot retire now. Like, you're like the oldest, and you're
Adam, they're not going to do that. No, there's what, 3 Democrats now? 6-3? Is that what it is?
I think so.
There's the 3 Democrat judges are not going to retire under Trump. No way. They're not going to retire under Trump unless they drop dead. That's the only way they're going to get a 7-2 majority. Can't believe I'm having this fucking conversation.
Do you say no way? I say we don't live in a world of no ways anymore.
Adam, they're not going to. Do you honestly think a Democrat Supreme Court judge is going to retire in the next 4 years? Yes or no?
I think it's entirely possible.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
What would benefit them?
If they're just ready to get out of the game.
They wait. They wait until the next president. That's how it works.
You can't.
And I honestly think you shouldn't be able to resign. I think it's a lifetime appointment. You should have to be there till you die.
Okay, but like, what was the one representative who they found her like living in a nursing home, and people didn't.
Yeah, she was a Republican from Texas.
Yeah, that's what you would get in the Supreme Court. Then people like that. If you have to wait till you die, you're going to be people that possibly in a coma or so far checked out of it all time.
This is what they do. This is what they do. This is why you'll never get what you're proposing. Both parties do that. They will only retire or resign or leave under their party's control.
But what I'm saying is based on your hypothetical where you said they should be there till they die is what I was saying. The problem with that is you might run into situations like that.
You have it now. You have it already. You're saying that would be a problem? It currently is a thing now.
So there's people with Alzheimer's sitting on the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Which one? I honestly don't know. That's why I'm asking. Which one?
Probably not now, But in the history of the Supreme Court, 100%. 100%. I think a simple Google would say, hey, what Supreme Court justice was senile?
I'll check.
Which one suffered from dementia? I guarantee you've got some. In the history of the United States. I can't name one. Again, not a constitutional scholar, not a historian. I'd be willing to bet. Look how many freaking senators and congressmen we have that are guilty of it. Dead air.
Because I'm looking up right now. Trying to see. So Sandra Day O'Connor was the one that came up. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2018. When did she?
Oh, she hasn't been on the Supreme Court. She was the first female, right? Sandra Day O'Connor was the first female Supreme Court justice. But she stepped down a long time before that. So if she just got diagnosed now.
In 2018.
2018. Yeah, 2018. I think she passed away. She passed away already. She's dead.
I'm only seeing Sandra Day O'Connor. Maybe there's more.
Oh, they're there. Maybe they probably swept it under the rug. I'm not their physician, so I can't give.
They're hiding it. All I'm seeing is Sandra Day O'Connor. I'm not saying any other ones. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying a cursory Google search is only returning with her and nobody else. So, do you see?
It's a problem that is already a problem.
Yeah.
So it would not be a problem because it still is. Not a new problem, I should say.
I don't think we live in a world where we have to make assumptions or assume like it's all going to work out. We don't live in that world anymore. I will bet you. I'll let you decide.
How about another pie in the face? Another pie in the face. I will bet you that a Democrat Supreme Court justice will not step down during Donald Trump's term. Now, if they die, get assassinated, anything of that nature, it's different. But they're not going to resign voluntarily.
I would argue assassinated would work in my favor.
What do you mean?
Because that would make the argument of, okay, they can get a supermajority in the Supreme Court just by killing them.
I mean, that's not out of the question. We've had them assassinated before.
Hence my reason why you can't just make that assumption that it's safe.
But that's not my argument.
I'm prepping for all possible outcomes. Maybe somebody does get assassinated. It's a problem. We got to be prepared for.
Yeah, if a Supreme Court justice gets assassinated, then they replace him. Yeah.
That's my argument. Mm-hmm. That's my argument is you can't say you have faith in the system entirely like that it's going to work out because that could happen.
If that happens, then the war...
That's my point. That's
the war that you want very badly, that you're getting a war boner over, that actually might happen then because that's an act of war.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my entire argument is you cannot plan, especially with this kind of... I'm still... And here's the thing. It's a conspiracy. I still firmly believe that when Donald Trump got shot in the ear, his team hired the fucking sniper just to make himself look good. I'm still in that camp because, like...
You called down the thunder.
Not for nothing else. After he recovered from his injury, there was no mark on his ear. With the amount of blood that he had, there would be at least a little chunk taken out of his ear. Was
all right. Let's pump the brakes. We're not a conspiracy podcast. Those are a dime a dozen.
I just said it's the only real conspiracy I subscribe to. It didn't look real at all.
In the words of Blink-182, we all know conspiracies are dumb.
They are. I hate them, but like, you see, Vance got protested at the ski resort.
I love it.
That was so great.
I love it so much.
He was trying to go on vacation. I mean, Vance has been working hard since they took office less than 2 months ago. It's been a hard 2 months, so he obviously deserves a vacation.
He's allowed to go skiing.
He deserves a vacation, Scott. Not that he's a public representative and instead of going on vacation 2 months into your thing, maybe you just, do your fucking job. But no, he was working hard.
Adam, you're allowed to take vacations.
We're allowed to take vacations, but like if you get a new job and then you say, "Oh yeah, next month I'm going to be gone for the weekend," and I'm not going to be available.
If you have the time, you can take it.
I hold these positions to a higher standard. They shouldn't be getting that many vacations.
Listen, I hate the guy. I do not like JD Vance at all. I love that they protested him where he went skiing in Vermont. I saw somebody hold up a sign that says Vance skis in jeans and I'm a skier, and that's really funny. he's allowed to take vacations. Now, Donald Trump vacations like every weekend.
Yes.
And is vacationing more than he's working. Now that's not right.
I did it again.
Well, I tell you, we'd be drinking.
It's been twice.
We'd be drinking. We're gonna bring back penalty shots. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do that. Get ready next week. No, I'm a union guy. I support workers' rights. And if you are able to go on vacation, go on vacation. Take that time off your job. Fuck your job. Go on vacation. I don't care who you are. You should be able to do it if you have the time.
Did you see that woman that got zip tied in that town hall meeting?
Yes.
That's fucking horrible.
Yes.
That's the other big thing that happened
by
this
a
week.
Private security firm.
It wasn't even the police. No.
It wasn't the police. It was just some guys. It was like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It was in Idaho. It was in Idaho is where it was. And here's the claim is that she was being very disruptive and like trolling and just yelling things out in the middle of the thing. By the time the video started that you can see, maybe that was happening earlier, but I do know for a fact that whenever he was trying to answer stuff and she was screaming stuff, there were other people in the area also that were yelling. Not like everybody, but there were other people you can hear yelling in the background as well. But they just decided to go up to her. And like you said, it was a private security force. Like she would kept saying, like, "Where's your badge? Like, who are you with? Are you a cop?" And they were just kind of like, "Get out of here! You're get out of here." I guess the sheriff was there, and he kind of gave the order to like, "Hey, these guys that are all wearing black, get her out of here," kind of thing. So they zip tie this woman, and drag her out. Not walk her out. They drag her ass out, and nobody does anything. Nobody stands up to try to defend this woman at all. Nobody tries. Yes, absolutely.
If you were there?
If I was there and some like badgeless random douchebags were getting up and trying to zip tie a woman and take him out, absolutely I would stand up and at the very least try.
There was only like 3 guys from the security force.
Yeah.
4 if you count the sheriff, which I didn't see him in the video, but I'll take your word for it.
He was the one that was like yelling her, like, "No, you need to be cool. You need to get out of here."
There were 100 people in that little room.
Yes.
Like people need to read The Ant and the Grasshopper.
Yeah.
And understand like how it works.
I watched The Bug's Life. That was my
The Bug's Life is that story, yes. So there's a lot more of us than there are of them. 4 people by the laws of physics cannot arrest 100 people.
No.
There's no way they could arrest all of us. We would bum rush them, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
Like the middle class is significantly bigger than the ruling class.
Yes.
Why does the middle class not just eat the ruling class?
That's the question.
Yes.
Every other country has been asking us for 2 months. Every other when France riots and they collapse their government, they get a nice little change. When South Korea, whenever they try to declare martial law, they fucking rioted, and less than 24 hours later, that shit ended. I think Germany's government also collapsed recently within the past few months, and then they were able to make sure that the Nazi Party didn't win in their primaries. So every single other country is now looking at the U.S. and I see it in like, and again, it's all anecdotal, but I see it in like comments of like all these like political based videos, and I'm just everybody's like, all right, America, we're watching you. Like, we're trying to fight. Where the fuck are you at? Like, where are you at? Like, oh, you're just gonna keep complaining online about it? Like, we were just saying, like, all this stuff is going on. Why the fuck didn't anybody help her out?
We're the bad guys. That's why we are the bad guys. Am I the problem? I'm the problem.
I'd like to think I would have gotten up and at least said something. I would have tried. And hopefully me getting up would have caused somebody else to back me up. I'm looking at you. Hopefully you be in the audience with me, backing me up.
Listen, between the two of us here, how many... I've been very close to being arrested at protests. Have you ever been to a protest?
No.
I've been to multiple protests and had to leave.
I'm looking to change that number, though. I'm looking to change that number.
I've had to scoot from multiple protests, or I was going to go to jail. So yeah, you talk a big game, but I've actually walked the walk.
No, that's I'm not saying like I would start a fight, but I'd at the very least get up and say something.
Here's the most important thing you could do during a protest when something like that's happening. Just go like that. For those of you listening and not watching, I'm holding my phone. Record every
Yeah, but you only need
thing.
you only need like 10 people to do that. You only need like not all 100 people need to do that. You need like 10, 15 people tops to be able to record it from all different angles. The rest of the people are like, oh, you got this? All right, I'm not going to put my phone up. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. See, this is the problem. We got to get organized. We can't all be the phone recording people. We got to delegate. We got to, diversify the skills a little bit, We can't all be recording.
This girl I know was really proud for me to tell on her 21st birthday, the night of her 21st birthday, she spent the night in jail. I said, oh, that happens to a lot of people on their 21st birthday. She's like, yeah, but I got arrested protesting. Went to jail on my 20. I'm like, what'd you tell your mom? She's like, my mom was in the cell with me. So that's pretty gnarly.
You see Trump wants to sell golden tickets?
Yeah, I saw the golden tickets.
He wants to sell
I got a golden ticket. Oh my God, we should have had that sound. I've got a golden ticket. Oh my God.
He wants to sell golden
cards.
tickets,
Gold
gold
card,
cards that are just like, hey, we like Russian he literally said we like Russian oligarchs. We're going to sell, gold cards to oligarchs to bring them in the country. Because why not pay for citizenship? Isn't that DEI? Isn't that DEI?
It's DEI.
A little DEI-ish.
Right, we're fucking done. We're done. We're done with Trump. We've talked about it enough. We had to talk about it because of what happened with Zelensky, which is so disgusting and so disappointing. And I'm going to speak for you.
Okay.
I think our podcast, we stand with Ukraine here.
I was thinking about today, thank you very much. For your distraction, stands with Ukraine.
For
100%.
your distraction, we stand with Ukraine.
Yes, absolutely. Let's move on to entertainment. I got some entertainment. I got
some entertainment.
I'll talk about.
I'm ready to be entertained.
Ready to be entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Where's that soundbite? Where's that? All right. Move over, Beyonce and Jay-Z. There's a new couple hitting the internet.
Oh, really?
Lauren Boebert and Kid Rock.
Shut up. No. Are they together?
They've been seen together. Oh, no. All right, here's the honest answer. I don't know. No, I don't think anybody knows. But they've been seen together.
Oh, my God.
Lauren Boebert and Kid Rock.
That is so methed up. that is real methed up.
So for all intents and purposes, this is the internet and it's streaming on Facebook as well. And since, fake news and, all that stuff has been done away with to community community moderating. Yeah, Lauren Boebert and Kid Rock are an item.
Oh my God. She's going to go on stage when he's doing one of his horrible concerts and give him a hand job right there in front of everybody. She's famous for her hand jobs. Did you know that?
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
Everyone has.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Kid Rock, did you hear about the Woke is Whack tour?
Yes. With Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice and Kid Rock are going on a Woke is Whack tour. That's some shit. That was actually confirmed false.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was confirmed false. But this is Facebook, and this is the internet, and there's no more community guidelines in terms of them censoring this kind of stuff or
I was going to go to the Woke as well. So Laura, our friend Laura, listens to the show. She sent me a link to it.
Yes, she sent me one too.
Oh, she sent it to you too. Okay.
I looked it up. It's supposed to be fake. It's a lie. So, moving on to some not jokey news. John Lithgow's set to play Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter remake on Max.
I did hear that. I don't know. Do we want a remake of Harry Potter?
It's been 20 years since the first movie came out. I mean,
do we need a reboot already?
That's the question I think everybody asked, but they're doing it anyway, so I guess just whatever. It's going to be a TV show instead of a movie this time, so.
But we don't like what's her name? The author. I forgot her name. She's that huge turf.
Yes. We don't like her, but
who wrote the books? What's her name?
I'm looking up something else. Hold on.
I never read the books.
I never read the books either. Harry.
Oh, our fans are going to hate us for this.
I didn't read the books, so don't fucking blame me.
You're the one that brought the story up. I thought you would have had a little...
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
No, the only thing I'm bringing up is the fact that John Lithgow was tasked to play Dumbledore and do stuff. Don't you love John Lithgow?
I like him. I don't think I love him.
John Lithgow's great in everything. Name a bad John Lithgow role. He's like Brendan Fraser.
I was gonna say Cliffhanger, but then I thought about it, and I think he was awesome in that too.
Exactly. He's like he's like an old Brendan Fraser. Everything he does is great.
I mean, okay. I mean, if I'm ranking my top 10 actors, hey, that's gonna be our next draft. We're drafting actors. Book it. Put it in the notes. But I don't think I'm drafting him. Maybe, but he's in the conversation.
For what? To be Dumbledore?
No. To be drafted by me as an actor.
Oh, I'm not talking about drafts. So like, he's not my top 10 either. But like, I love John Lithgow.
Okay.
Like,
I like
every
him.
time he comes on the screen, they're like, oh, I love John Lithgow.
I like him.
Yeah.
I don't think I love him. I like him.
What's wrong with John Lithgow? What's
Nothing.
with the John Lithgow?
I
hate?
just said I like him, Adam. I just don't jerk off over him like you do, apparently.
Dude, Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock with the Sun was just fine.
It was a nice cheeky little comedy.
I remember it being very overrated, but a lot of sitcoms like that of its day were. Anyway, okay, so he is playing Dumbledore. Good luck casting somebody to play Harry Potter, because Daniel Radcliffe was perfect.
Yeah.
He was the perfect casting. I don't know if I'm going to watch that.
I mean, we probably will.
Yeah, you called me out. I probably will.
I'm trying to see if there's any new any cast. So, Bronte Carmichael as Hermione, Joshua Pickering as Ron Weasley. So I guess they haven't had a cast of Harry Potter just yet.
That's
oh no,
gonna be-
Toby Wolf as Harry Potter.
Who?
Toby Wolf.
Who?
Toby
Finn Wolfhard?
No, Toby.
Finn Wolfhard's playing Harry Potter.
Toby Wolf.
I'm just fucking with you.
Toby Wolf. This is I guess it's
Fuck T.I., fuck
this
Nelly,
kid?
fuck 50.
I never seen him before.
Wait a minute. He looks really young. He looks like the
He's
young
16
version of the
now.
brother from Modern Family.
He's 16 now, is what he is.
Okay.
So those look
Is he
like old
British?
pictures.
I hope he's British. It better be British. John Lithgow is not British.
No, but you know,
Dumbledore's British.
what are you gonna do?
Speak with a British accent. He better.
He's probably gonna speak like he does, like normally. He's pretty good at like losing himself in a role though. What was it? The Crown.
Yeah.
He was in The Crown. He did really good in that. Winston Churchill. He had to speak with a British accent in that.
Yeah, but it was a
Britishy?
Churchill accent. It was like a Cockney dialect or whatever Churchill is. It was like just mumbly because he was Churchill and he's mumbler.
I think he's gonna do fine. Imagine John Lithgow with a beard, like a big old bushy beard. That's
Yeah,
gonna be weird.
They'll just put a prosthetic on.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Roseanne's got a new show coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear about this?
No.
It's I don't know where they're at with it, but it's meant to be a cross between the Roseanne show and The Sopranos. It's a series that she said reportedly follows an Alabama farmer, quote, saving the United States from drug gangs and China. Though he also sells drugs like cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms.
Is it written by Taylor Sheridan? That sounds good.
Yeah, so United States drug farmer that is saving the country from drug gangs and China. That's going to be interesting.
You got some entertainment news. I'm proud of you for this. It's just about as good as the news right now.
It's as good as you make it.
Yeah,
It's as good as you make it.
The Oscars are on tomorrow night when we're recording this, as the crow flies. The Oscars are on. You gonna watch the Oscars, Adam?
Nope.
Have you ever watched an Oscar?
I probably have when I was a kid back, but not because I wanted to, but because I had 4 channels and it was like the only thing on.
You know me. I love the awards shows.
I think they're stupid. I think they're dumb.
I know. And they kind of are, and it's a guilty pleasure.
Who's
and
hosting this year?
Conan O'Brien, I think.
That's right, Conan. I did hear about that, yeah.
I'm such a dork for knowing all this. I love
You know who knows this? People that do entertainment podcasts. So I wouldn't call yourself a dork. I'd say you're doing your job.
We're not very good at the entertainment end of our entertainment podcast.
I'm good at it. You're not good at playing along with the bit, you know? So what's your favorite part of the Oscars? Like, I imagine
I really like. I know this is lame.
What's your
this
favorite?
is lame. I think Conan. I like Conan. I think his monologue is going to be funny. I usually like. There's always something that happens. Like the Oscars is just like. There's always that thing that happens at the Oscars. I don't know what it is. It's the whole point. It's going to be a surprise. It's like
Like a halftime show almost kind of thing?
Somebody's nipple's going to come out, or somebody's going to get slapped, or somebody's going to boycott, and somebody's going to climb up in the balcony and take a shit that's going to fall down the... I don't know, just stuff that's happened before.
Yeah, but like you watch it for that, but in the year 2025, you could just not watch it and catch it later. Like you don't have to sit through the Oscars for that moment. You're going to see the clips of it later on. It's not like back in the day when there was the nip slip, when there was like the nip slip, and then it was like, you didn't watch it, oh, you missed it. Like, no, these days if something happens, you're like, just go on TikTok, search for that. Up there it is.
What's the fun in that?
Saves you time. Saves you time. Did you watch the most recent Daily Show this week with Jon Stewart?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so in that. And this is still entertainment. Let's backtrack into politics a little bit.
Yeah.
He was like shitting.
Fine line. It's fine line.
He was shitting all over Doge the entire time.
Sure.
As Jon Stewart tends to do. So on Twitter, Elon Musk tweeted out that he would be willing to come on to be interviewed by Jon Stewart about Doge as long as the interview and the entire episode was unedited. Uncut, unedited, the entire thing. Thinking that like, oh, it's a gotcha moment. Like, I'll get them. Daily Show tweeted back, bet.
Is it gonna happen?
They basically said, we're for it. Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely, let's go. Come on. Like he basically called his bluff. Oh He's not gonna do it.
Oh my god.
But Daily Show retweeted was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. We talked to Jon Stewart. He's all for it. Uncut, unedited. Let's do it.
Battle of wits between those two. It's gonna be like a hurt baby gazelle against an entire pack of lions that have it circled.
Yeah.
Elon Musk would get destroyed by Jon Stewart.
People online are like, oh man, I would love to see, like Muskers are like, oh man, I'd love to see it. Musk would take Jon Stewart down a notch. He would show him how smart he is. It's like,
what?
Did you not see Jon Stewart when he was first making the scene and he went on whatever that CNN show where Tucker Carlson was on, where he had that bow tie, and like they all expected Jon Stewart to be like a comedian. He's gonna be a funny guy. He's gonna lighten up. And then Jon Stewart came on and he hit him with like the hard questions and like the serious stuff. He's like, you are aware, like he has a journalist degree. I don't know if he has a political science degree, but like he's like, you're aware, like I'm a journalist. Like I do funny stuff and I act, but like I went to school for this shit. And they were all like, oh, you know, like be the funny guy. He's like, no. Like here's my hard questions.
Tucker Carlson's like, I thought you came on here to be funny.
It's like, no.
He ended his like. Tucker Carlson never wore a bow tie again.
Never. That was the last.
That was the last time Tucker Carlson went home, cried, and burned all his bow ties after Jon Stewart destroyed him.
Yeah.
That was so good. That was so good.
If they did it, it would be the highest rated Daily Show episode.
If it happens, I'm coming over here. We're gonna get popcorn.
I hope they announce it ahead of time. I'll take the day off because I work till midnight. So like I'll probably be working at the time whenever it's going on.
Mondays, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can watch it anytime, but you're not gonna want to come over that late. So I'll take like at least a half day, and then we'll pop some popcorn, have a couple rum and cokes, and just watch the entertainment happen.
Word.
Like I hope so much. It's not gonna happen. It won't happen. Or it'll happen, and what Musk will claim afterwards when he gets trounced, like, oh, they edited it. They cut a lot of stuff. They edited. You know? That's what they did.
All right. Is it draft time?
I think it's draft time.
All right, let's talk. So we talked last week on the show briefly. We were talking about albums music albums that had a big influence on us when we were young. We talked about albums that we loved that were like a start to finish that you could just play from track one and never skip any, and just albums that we just love that are important. So we got the idea we're going to do one of our classic patented for distraction drafts, and we're just going to draft albums. And this is going to be good because it's not like our albums have to fight each other like you like to do when we draft characters. You always like to have a fight.
Set some rules. That's the default. Set different rules.
It's just, and I think our lists might be very different on this. Because you and I have very different taste in music.
Especially growing up, I have a feeling that we're gonna have wildly different choices.
Now it could be modern day albums too. There's no rule against it.
I have
most of mine
from my teens to my 20s. I've
most of mine are from when I was younger. Yeah. All right, so let's do it, Adam.
Who goes first this time?
I was just going to ask you that question. What was the last draft we did?
We did, it was Robin Williams' draft. That's what that was.
I went first, so you go first. Yeah, you go first.
I'm just going to take the goat. Up. So my first pick. I'm just going to get it off the table now. I'm just going to take it. Be disappointed all you want. I'm taking Jagged Little Pill.
It was on my list. That's the one that started this conversation.
Yes. I would argue that's like one of the best albums of all time.
Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. That's a good first pick.
I just want to get that out of the way.
I didn't know if you were going to take it first, because it's the one that we were talking about initially that got us talking about, the albums that we loved as kids. So I'm okay with that. That's okay.
Yeah, I just want to get that off the board now. That way I don't have to worry if you're going to take it or not.
Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
It's a great album. Fantastic album.
It's a non-skipper for me. All right, my turn. My first pick of the albums. We're drafting albums. Any genre of music. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go here.
You didn't tap it hard enough.
It was a delay. The pick is in.
I'll fix that.
Fix it. The pick is in. I'm going to take Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Loved this album as a kid.
Guns N' Roses not on my list at all.
No, I really liked them. My cousin was a big Guns N' Roses fan, like 10 years older than me. So I thought it was so cool. So it got me into it. I had a couple of I had Appetite for Destruction. I had one of their greatest hits albums, and I had Chinese Democracy. I was a pretty big Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah.
Chinese Democracy was just it was a post-Slash.
Yeah.
I think he left and did Velvet Revolver for a while, and it was just Axl Rose and Buckethead and a bunch of other idiots. But Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. If I'm stranded on a deserted island, with one CD that I can play, Appetite for Destruction, I'll take it.
Fair enough. All right, so my number 2 pick. So this is going to be, I know for a fact this is not on your list. This is, you know me, I'm a big fan of like rock, alt rock, indie rock, that kind of stuff. This would probably be one of the first bands I ever listened to, one of the first albums I ever listened to that kind of got me into like that indie or alternative rock kind of landscape. I kind of fell off with them a little bit, like in the late teens, 20s, but I kind of started listening to them again in my early 30s. But the album to start it all for me was Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. That would be my next on my list. Like I said, it's the thing that got me into alt rock. I was a big fan of it. I still like Linkin Park. When Chester Bennington, the lead singer, killed himself a few years ago, it was very sad. And so I started listening to Linkin Park again. There's a couple albums they had that I didn't even know, so I listened to those. One of the things I'll say about Linkin Park is very unique in the sense of whatever album you're listening to, the previous album was kind of different. Like it was Hybrid Theory, then it was Meteora after the second album, and it was very similar, but it had like kind of its own. I think it delved a little more into like some rap stuff, but then they always tried like new things. Like almost every album they would make, they'd have like different types. Like they would evolve the sound that they would do, and I just thought it was unique. So that's why I'm going for Hybrid Theory number 1, or number 2. I mean.
All right, my second pick in our albums draft. A classic. And the pick is in. And it's Songs You Know by Heart. Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reefers.
I would not be surprised that there's Jimmy
I'm
Buffett
wearing my Jimmy Buffett shirt. I've seen him in concert a dozen times, maybe 10, 11, somewhere around there. Unfortunately, just a couple years ago, we lost Jimmy. I'm actually going to go to a concert this September. Doobie Brothers and the Coral Reefers.
Really?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Really excited about seeing it. The Coral Reefers, it's Jimmy's band. They're still performing just without him.
Yeah.
And they're opening for Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers. So some good yacht rock, you know what I mean? But yeah. So Songs You Know by Heart is my number 2 pick.
All right. So we're going on to number 3. Mm-hmm. My number 3 pick. Your wife would be disappointed in me if I did not
hit the button, you say the name. So if you're going to talk, you talk, and then when you're ready to say the name, you hit the button.
I'm pretty sure, and we'd have to go back to the previous footage and check, but I used to do that, and then you would say, you didn't push the button yet. You got to push the button first, and then you can go.
No. Say the name. You open up with the name, and then whatever. Whatever. I'm not being an asshole. Go ahead. Do it.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm learning. That's all I'm taking.
That was the original.
Learning.
Yeah, that was the idea.
All right. So I'm going with "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot" by DMX.
I knew it.
Your wife would be very disappointed in me if I did not pick this album.
Mm-hmm.
This album
one of her favorites too.
Was one of the first albums I ever listened to that introduced me into the rap genre.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my.
This is one of the first ones because, like, whenever music was a big part of my childhood. Whenever my mother's a little bit younger than most mothers whenever she had me, so like we had very similar tastes, and when we'd be driving down the road, you know, going wherever, we'd listen to a lot of music, Korn, like all kinds of like heavy metal and like rock and stuff like that. But one of the first rap albums I ever listened to was DMX. We would listen to this album, "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot," and I would like memorize all the songs. I just listened. It was just great. It's a very hardcore kind of like rapper to get into as your first like inkling into the rap game, I guess, because like he was very much like a gangster rapper, so very much about like life on the streets, crime, that kind of stuff, like hardcore rapping. But like I loved it. I fucking loved it so much.
You still do, don't lie.
Dude, rest in peace. Pour one out for one's homies. Into my mouth. That's what she said.
All right, it's my turn.
Your turn.
Oh, where am I going to go from here? With my third pick of our all-time favorite albums draft, I'm going to go Exodus by Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Okay.
Perfect album. I love reggae. Legend was also very good, but I'm going to go Exodus just because it just means more to me. Loved Bob Marley. That was a start to finish. You like reggae?
Yeah, I like some reggae. Yeah.
I think everybody loves reggae.
It's incredibly.
What's not to like about reggae?
It's an incredibly chill genre of music.
It's chill. It's fun.
You can listen to it anytime.
Yeah.
Like any environment. Like you put on a little reggae, it's like, all right, we're just gonna chill out. You know.
For sure.
They should have played reggae in the Oval Office during the Zelensky-Trump meetup yesterday, and I think that would have chilled things out a little bit. You know.
Yeah, my number 3 pick is Exodus by Bob Marley and the Wailers.
All right, moving on to number 4. My number 4 pick. This, if you know me, this is the first album I ever listened to of my new current favorite band that I love. You know the band I'm talking about. I went with Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4 by Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, you wear that shirt.
Yes.
You have a t-shirt.
That is my current favorite band. Linkin Park used to be my favorite band, and then, like I said, I dropped off from them a little bit. And then I started listening to some Coheed and Cambria. That was the first album I ever listened to, and I've listened to that thing cover to cover.
What's it
many
called?
times. So Coheed and Cambria, every single album name is always incredibly weird. And that's because it's connected with, so the lead singer is Claudio Sanchez. He co-writes a graphic novel series that every single album they make is about.
Oh.
And the title of this one is Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4 by Coheed and Cambria. And that is alluding to like one of the storylines in this graphic novel series. I actually have the first 2 volumes of it, so it's like a series of like issues. It's like an interesting, like crazy, like sci-fi sort of story. But that's kind of like what I don't know if they kind of still stuck to that aspect of it. I don't know if they're making new graphic novels, but early on, like I said, the lead singer co-wrote a graphic novel series, and like the songs in these albums had to do with things that happened in the series. Pretty cool. It's kind of like that meta element that also like makes me really love this band. So that's my number 4 pick.
Okay. All right, my turn. This is my 4th pick of my favorite album drafts. Oh, this is tough. I've got 2 slots left, and I've got 3 albums that I want. Oh, man, which one do I do? This is tough. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Stankonia by Outkast.
I was wondering when that was going to like pop on your list. It was going to be there somewhere.
You knew it would.
Yes.
Man, do I love them. And honestly, like the Dirty South, like the ATL style of rap isn't necessarily my favorite, but wow, are they good.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Outkast is amazing. I love Outkast.
Really good. Yeah. Big Boy, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
I mean, ATLians is also a very good album. Speakerbox and Love Below is also a very good album. But Stankonia, that was my jam. It was a start to finish.
Yeah.
Big influence on me as a teen. And I'm going with my number 4 pick, Stankonia by Outkast.
Okay. Last one, number 5 for me.
It's the 5th pick, huh?
5th pick. So I'm gonna say this first before I get into the pick. I had a bit of a difficult time in terms of finding like old school albums that I would listen to all the time, because when I was growing up, there were very few actual albums I would listen to. CDs were expensive back in the day when you're on a budget. So like I would get like a few little albums. I'd get like an album here or there, but for the most part, I was just listening to the same one over and over and over and over again, even whether you liked it or not. I got into a lot of the songs that we love today during like the illegal download era.
Oh,
like
yeah.
LimeWire, FrostWire, all that stuff. And I wouldn't download
Napster?
Yeah, I didn't do Napster.
Oh, I was Napster.
I didn't do Napster. So when I started listening to a lot more music and it started expanding my musical genre of what I listened to, like I didn't download full albums. I would just download just certain songs from certain artists.
And
like,
you'd make mixtapes.
Yeah, I'd make that was the thing you did. You know, back
I did it too.
Back in the mid to late aughts, like you make mix
Right.
CDs, and so that's what I did all the time. So like I would never listen to a lot of them, but there was a few of them I would listen to, and I decided to pick this next group, not because I had 2 choices that I was debating about. I went with this one not because they're better than the other one, but I have more fond memories listening to this music than I do the other one. So my last pick, I'm going to go with Party Rock from LMFAO.
Ooh.
Here's why.
Ooh.
LMFAO. So it was between that and Country Grammar from Nelly. It was between those 2. Now, I listened to Country Grammar way back before LMFAO was a thing. I had Country Grammar's CD. I listened to that front to back all the time. It was fucking hot as shit. But I picked LMFAO for a couple different reasons. Number 1, they only had like 2 albums, maybe 3. They only had a few. They had very few albums.
Very few.
Very few.
They might have only had 1.
No, they had at least two.
They had two?
At least two.
The Party Rock Anthem was the big one.
Yes. And it's because all
Sorry
their,
for Party Rockin', right? That's what it was?
that was the main song, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for
What's the album called?
It's called Party Rock. It's the first album. That's the first album.
Okay.
So I went with LMFAO because they showed up at just the right time.
Yeah, they did.
And then they left at the perfect time as well.
They did a good
They
job
had
with that.
2, maybe 3 albums,
They didn't overstay the welcome.
and they were all bangers. You could listen
were.
to almost every single song you could listen to. But they came around in my early to mid 20s era.
Yeah.
Like late teens, early 20s kind of era when I was hanging out with people,
I was in college.
partying. Like you get together and it's like, hey, what are we going to listen to? Sorry for Party
I was
Rockin'.
sorry. You know what? Every day I was shuffling.
Shot. Little John, shot.
Every day. Every day I was shuffling. I went to spring break that year in college, and those songs.
Every day I see my dream.
It was
Every
just
day. Yeah.
It was just the anthem of us being.
It was the
Spring
anthem.
break.
It was the anthem of irresponsibility.
It was crunk music.
It was.
That's what
It was just. There was no controversy. They weren't singing about times on the streets or like.
I thought that was a bold
or
pick.
like my baby daddy or something like that or like any like the some stuff you hear from other like rap songs or pop songs. It was just like we're having fun. Let's just fucking do it. Let's have fun.
I
Let's
really
party.
thought that was a bold pick, but now the more I'm thinking about it, you know what? Those are bops.
They are.
Those are bops.
They're all bops. And that's why I picked it, because every song is just fun. And we talked about it before. You and I worked at the same skating rink as like one of our first early jobs back in the mid to late aughts. I think, and somebody will have to prove me wrong because I'm going to make this claim. I played the first LMFAO song when I was DJ one night. There was a song. It was like a cover of another song, but they like LMFAO'd it up. I can't remember what the song name was, but I saw it and I was like, that sounds fun. Because we had that little CD player up there that we could preview it a little bit. And so
Sure did,
I was like,
yeah.
who is this band? Who's this group LMFAO? Like, that's fun. I'll look at the song. So I put it on there. It's like, oh, this is fun. So I was like, fuck it. And I put it on the CD track. I played it. Within 10 seconds, multiple skaters rolled over me like, hey, who's this fucking group that you put? Who are these people? I was like, LMFAO. I'm like, all right. Fucking yeah. That's the hat. That's the hat I'm hanging.
You should have DJ'd. You should have become a DJ. Could have been a contender.
That's my last one. Party Rock by LMFAO.
All right. My last pick is between two, and the one is kind of out in left field. The one would probably surprise you, but like 8th grade me might have picked this as number one. But you know what? I'm gonna go with 9th grade me.
He's mature.
I'm gonna go with 9th grade me, and I'm gonna pick The Chronic 2001 by Dr. Dre.
That's good. That's a good pick. What was your other one?
Follow the Leader by Korn.
I thought about Korn.
I thought about
that Korn album we listened to a lot in the car.
I did
that was
too.
one of those ones.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going. The Chronic 2001, the original Chronic is great. Straight out of Compton from NWA is great.
Not to derail you, but you remember mashups? How many Korn songs were mashed up with like rap songs? Like, wait, I'm coming undone with it. Wait, like, did you ever listen to those?
Yeah.
Coming Undone with It was a CD in the rink. That was on a track. That song was.
Look at your eyes. You're getting a little glimmer in your eyes.
I'm just saying, it's just fond memories. Like,
Okay.
like whenever you like, oh, I listened to Korn when I was like
8th
an
grade.
early teen and stuff like that. And then like 3 years later, it's like, oh, you come across a download of like a mashup. Like, this is fucking cool as shit. Dude, mashups were a thing too. That was a.
So my last pick is The Chronic 2001 by Dr. Dre. I had some bangers that I did.
What made you pick that one over the original pick or
Over
the other
Korn?
pick? Over Korn, yeah. Was there anything?
I like it more now.
Okay, that's fair.
Maybe at the time, not so much, but I think I've got more into hip hop than I have new metal. I don't think new metal aged well for me anyway.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody. Speak for myself. I really liked Korn. I really liked Limp Bizkit. Ooh. Now I'm like, oh, that's cringy.
Yes.
That's cringy.
That's why you're
And
ready
I
for the Kid Rock Vanilla Ice tour.
What?
That's why you're ready for the Kid Rock Vanilla Ice tour.
You know, I'm surprised The Devil Without a Cause didn't make your list. Listen, I had the Devil Without a Cause album.
I didn't.
I'm glad. I had it. It was a thing that existed when in 1998. The Devil Without a Cause, I listened to it, but that was a different Kid Rock. That was Kid Rock panders to his clientele. Like, he was hip hop back then.
Spoiler alert, he's white trash now. He wasn't white trash at the start. He was from the fucking suburbs.
He's loaded. His family is very wealthy. But he was a rapper. He was a rapper, and then he became a country singer. And then now he's doing like Southern rock.
He's like the musician version of Larry the Cable Guy. That's what he is. Larry the Cable Guy, I can't remember his real name, but he is also like, look at his early stand-up. Dude was wearing like a blazer and like a button-up shirt.
He's playing a character.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But let's see. Other things on my list. I had Saint Lunatics, Free City. I had Jay-Z Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. I had a David Bowie album. Jurassic 5, Quality Control. Those are some albums. They didn't make it, but they needed to be talked about.
I had a few others. Like I said, Country Grammar by Nelly. I did have Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's a good one.
I never owned the album, but I did listen to like pretty much all the songs in there, so I kind of included that. But because I didn't have the album, I was like, I'm not going to put that on there. The second album by Breaking Benjamin, Phobia, I did have that on there. That's another alternative band. But I figured since I already put Linkin Park, I'm not going to put another alt band like that. They're very similar. And the last one I had on here was What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis.
Oasis, that's a good album.
But I never owned the album, and I didn't listen to every song on the album. So that's why I just said I couldn't, in all honesty, put that on my list because it's not honest.
You're talking about your mashups. Okay. And I do know what you're talking about, the Korn mashups. Wasn't too keen on those. But what I did love, and I think we've talked about this before, maybe on the show, and I think you're a purist, and I think you didn't like this, and I did. The Jay-Z Linkin Park mashups
I love the Jay-Z
were
Linkin Park
so
mashups.
good.
What are you talking about? I love those.
Okay, it wasn't you.
I had
then.
the album.
It wasn't you. Then. It was somebody else.
I love that.
Somebody else I know. Actually, at the rink, you were talking about the rink. Whenever people would come up and request Linkin Park, gotta be honest, I never loved Linkin Park. Never really did. It's fine that you did. A lot of people did. They just weren't my thing. Jay-Z, on the other hand, loved him then. I still love him now. And when people would come up and request Linkin Park songs, they weren't being specific. They're just like, play some Linkin Park. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you're getting Numb Encore.
That's a great song, though.
So good.
It's
but then people come.
It's the best one off that album.
But then the idiot rink rats would be like, I didn't want the version with Jay-Z. I'm like, well, that's what you get, kid. Be more specific next time. It's like when you find the genie and you make your 3 wishes and you're not specific enough. You're going to get fucked.
Do you ever, side note,
it's like the monkey paw or the gin.
Yeah.
You're going to get screwed.
Side note, do you ever see those videos on TikTok that would pop up where it's the dude that found a genie? It was like a little bit they did where he found a genie and his first wish was, I wish for you to audit my next 2 wishes so that you can tell me what will be the negative side effects you will give me if I wish that.
That's an amazing wish.
And so he's like, and the genie was like, you know what? That's never happened before. All right, your wish is granted. Bing. And so it's just a whole skit of him rattling off, hey, what's the side effect if I give you this wish? He's like, well, I'm going to do this. That was like, I'm going to show it to you after this because that is fucking hilarious.
That's always the thing. If you find a genie, I don't even know if I'd make a wish because I've seen too many examples of you ruining your life to the monkey paw or the genie,
Unless they explicitly say it at the time of summoning them, I'm just going to wish for more wishes.
I think
they have to explicitly say that.
Isn't that out though? Isn't that?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. Look, I'll take him to the Supreme Court. They didn't tell me.
Good luck with that.
Genie didn't tell me. You know, I can't just assume that all genies are the same. That's racist. I can't assume all genies' rules are the same.
You're the one who mentioned race.
Or what? Are genies not a race now?
No!
We're going to eliminate them from the
They're
gene
not
pool?
a race, Adam.
Doing a bit.
Oh,
Doing a bit.
okay.
Doing a bit. But no, like, it's. You're talking about the mashups, though. Like, that would be your first wish.
What was it? What was that album called? The Linkin Park Jay-Z.
Numb Encore.
That was the song. I don't remember.
I thought it was the album name too. Hold on, let me.
I don't remember what the album. But it was. I had that album, but it was a burned copy.
Yes,
remember burned CDs.
Collision Course. Sorry,
Collision Course. That's what it was.
Album.
Collision Course. So good. So good.
Yes. I thought we'd have wildly different picks.
We kind of did.
I thought we would.
We kind of did. I also was thinking about putting Steely Dan, Asia, on my list, but that's one I'm really into now. I wasn't really into it back
as long
in
as
the
you
day.
listen to the most of the album, I think it would count.
I think it would too. I mean, it's from the 70s.
Yeah.
I just listened to it in the 2020s like nonstop.
All right, Scott, we got a little bit of time left. Let's finish up with Course Cinema. Last week, I had you watch I think it's 2007 or 2008 remake of Get Smart, starring Steve Carell and Dwayne Johnson. What'd you think? What'd you think, sir?
I enjoyed watching it with you. I've never seen this movie before, and I'm surprised I'd never seen it before, but I didn't. It was fun watching it here with you because we could laugh about stupid stuff. It kind of was a dumb movie.
Yes.
But that's okay.
It was early on in Steve Carell's career when he was like that. It was like around the Office era. He was like that dumb comedy dude and stuff like that. And so that's kind of the role he was playing. I thought one of the coolest things about the movie, just I'll let you finish your thought because you're the newcomer to watching it. But like I thought one of the coolest things was like they did kind of a meta thing where it's like they paid homage to the old TV show.
They did that a
where
lot.
the entrance to at the beginning of the movie, the entrance to the new control headquarters goes through the museum that is basically has like artifacts from the old control headquarters, like the classic stuff you saw on the TV show if you watched it. I thought that was like a cool meta thing they did.
And they had the doors, all the different doors. That's
Yeah.
from the show too.
Yeah.
The phone booth where you get sucked down, like that's all from this TV show from the 60s that I really enjoyed. Weird seeing Dwayne Johnson with hair.
That young Dwayne Johnson.
It's been a long time since I've seen him with hair on his head. Anne Hathaway, what a babe, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What a babe.
They had a wrestler in this one too. Eastern Ireland head joke they made.
Oh, it was the great Khali. I forget
Yeah.
what his name is in real life. He wasn't a very good wrestler, but he's just a giant, enormous man.
Yeah.
He was in The Longest Yard too with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're back. Now I don't have to kill you. You ever seen The Longest Yard?
Yes.
All right. I was going to give that to you if you hadn't. That's a funny one. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice watching a lighthearted comedy like this.
It was very easy to watch. It was an easy watch.
It was an easy watch. And sometimes we need that here.
Scott,
Adam.
it's your turn.
Okay. So I had a hard time again, but this is a relatively new movie, and I was talking to you about it, and the more I talked about it, the more I realized I wanted you to just see it. So you, sir, tonight, after we tune out here, we are going to watch The Wild Robot.
That's on Disney, right?
No, it's on Peacock.
Peacock. Okay.
I believe it's on Peacock. Yeah. So it's an animated movie. It is a kid's movie, but I want you to be ready. Be ready.
Tears.
Because
Niagara Falls.
for me, so when I was a kid, I had a real hard time picking up on metaphors. How are you with metaphors?
Okay.
I am so
All right.
good at understanding metaphors now that sometimes I see metaphors that aren't even really there. Are the metaphors in the room with you right now, sir? Yeah. So I sometimes get emotional when there's no need to get emotional. There's plenty to get emotional for in this movie, but the Oscars are tomorrow night. This is going to win Best Animated Feature. It's a DreamWorks movie. It's not Disney. Disney's going to lose again. This was the best animated movie of the year.
Nice.
And I'm excited for you to see it.
Wild Robot on
Wild
Peacock.
Robot. It's based off a children's book.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter read it in school and loved it like a couple years ago. And then we saw it just came out last year, the end of last year. And she's like, oh, I read this book. It was so good. I want to see the movie and watch it together. And I was like, why?
It's like, Daddy, it'll be okay. It'll be okay, Daddy.
She was crying too.
Scott,
Adam.
how can the people get a hold of For Distraction? How can they watch us, listen to us, talk to us, all that good jazz?
If you want to get a hold of us here for Distraction, you can shoot us an email, fordistraction@gmail.com. You can listen to us myriad of different ways. We are on, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Podbean. Thank you.
Podbean. That's the main hub. Yep.
Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon Music,
Spotify.
That's it, Spotify already.
Did you? Okay.
Said Spotify.
Sorry.
We are on Facebook. You can search for Distraction on Facebook. Find us on there. Did we leave X? I don't go on X anymore.
I mean, you're the social media manager, so if we left X, you would have to pull us off that. So
yeah, okay. You can tweet us at Podcast FYD. We're still on there. You can find us on YouTube. Adam, you got us on YouTube.
We're doing streaming on YouTube.
We're doing streaming on YouTube. This is the last couple weeks we've been doing this, and so far we haven't had any glitches the last couple weeks.
No, we
so
share it to the
good.
Facebook too. So if you were somebody who liked to watch the live stream on Facebook, we do share it to that page right when we live stream. So you just tap it or click on it, boom, you're right over to the YouTube live stream. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. I
feel like some of the people, because when you post the link to Facebook, it just has our logo. You have to like click on it. It takes us to YouTube, and then it starts playing. When we did it on Facebook, you'd scroll through and you would just see us like already talking.
Yeah.
And people are lazy and awful, and that's an extra step. So I think we've lost some people that way.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Nope.
You don't believe that people are awful and lazy?
I believe people
Yes,
are
you
lazy,
do.
but I don't believe we lost anything from making the switch that we did. So
Well, it's made. So we are also a member of the Electronic Media Collective. Head on over to the electronicmediacollective.com. You can find our podcast there and a bunch of other great shows. You can also subscribe to our Patreon. Adam will post the link.
the links to everything should be in the description of the live stream you're watching now, if you're watching. So, or the YouTube video.
If they're listening to this, they're watching.
Yes.
Yes.
But I mean, later on, if you're just
If you go back and rewatch it, you're still listening.
right. But I'm just telling you, the links are in the description, man. Come on.
All right.
The links are in the description.
TikTok didn't die. We thought TikTok was going to die.
It's
It
coming up in like
didn't.
April. I think the next bout is coming up in April, I think.
It's saved. I'm on TikTok. You can search for Scotty No. He's on TikTok. Adam's Hot Takes.
Yep.
We post clips of our shows on TikTok.
Same on Blue Sky. Same handles on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, Scotty Knows. I'm loving Blue Sky. I wish I had more followers because my content on there is so good. I'm proud of my Blue Sky content. And I try not to post as much on Facebook. The only thing I use Facebook for is to argue with maggers.
Porch maggots.
Adam,
Scott.
big things are coming.
Big things coming, whether they're good or bad. We'll see. The revolution might be coming. Hey, that guillotine tutorial that you watched, man, that might come in handy soon. You might want to internalize that knowledge.
Do you know how much lumber costs right now? Like, I feel like everything is so much more expensive under Trump's America. I feel like he's driving up the prices lumber so we don't build guillotines.
Scott, I think at that point, once we get to the guillotine era, we just go out and chop down a tree and just make it ourselves at that point.
You heard it here, folks. He's gonna chop down a tree and build a guillotine.
I've chopped wood before, man. I'll chop it again.
He chops wood every morning. Hey, yo.